This is the DF Audio MINIBAY. It's a compact 40-point patch bay that lets you easily connect to different effects and route signals in all the ways that can be done with a typical rack mount unit. What makes the MINIBAY different though is its convenient form factor, intuitive layout, and some other design features that I'll explain and demonstrate in this video. Starting with the connections, all the patching's done on the front panel using standard Eurorack cables. So these are 1/8 inch mono jacks. If we take a look at the back panel, this is where you connect to instruments, effects, and a mixer. These are 1/4 inch stereo sockets, meaning that each one can send or receive 2 separate signals. So to connect to these, you generally use what are known as insert cables. These have a TRS or tip ring sleeve jack on one end, and on the other end they have 2 TS or tip sleeve jacks. Looking at both panels side by side, you can see that every socket on the back panel has 2 corresponding patch points on the top panel. So let's plug some stuff in and see how it works. I want channels 1 and 2 on the mixer to be on patch points B1 and 2 on the MINIBAY. So I'll plug into the corresponding socket like so and take the 2 ends to inputs 1 and 2 over here. I also want to do some stuff in stereo, so channels 5, 6 and 7, 8 on my mixer are stereo pairs. So I'll hook into 5, 6 and connect those to patch points B5 and B6 on the MINIBAY. And now for some instruments. So I've got the Prophet here and the Model D, and I want those to be on patch points A1 and A2. So again, I'll plug into the corresponding socket on the back, and then I'll take these 2 ends and plug one into the Prophet and the other into the Model D. Alright, so I've got my instruments set up now. I've got the Prophet going through to patch point A1 and the Model D going to patch point A2. Nothing's patched in with cables yet, but if I play one of the synths, you can hear that the signal's already passing through to the mixer. And that's because I've got these set up as what I call normaled connections. On the MINIBAY, you can select which AB pairs have a normaled connection by opening up the case and using these little dip switches. As you can see here, I've got points 1 to 6 normaled because that's what happens to work for me with this mixer, but you can configure it however you like. I'll just play a sequence to show you how these normal connections work. Alright, so the Prophet is on channel 1 and the Model D on channel 2. If I grab a patch cable and plug it into any one of these sockets, it will break the normal connection. So I plugged it into the Prophet and that connection is broken. I can also, if I plug it into the channel, it'll also break that connection, and the same with the Model D. Right, let's hook up some effects. So I'll take this cable, go into effects number 1 on the back panel, and then the 2 ends of this cable will then go into the input and the output on this effects pedal. Like that. Okay, so I've got a nice little selection of effects here. I've got a phaser, chorus, stereo delay, and a reverb. I've set these up so that for each effect, the input corresponds to the top patch point and the output to the bottom one. For the delay, I've got a mono input and the left output, which share the same insert cable, and then a separate cable for the right output. So input, left output, right output. So finally we can start patching in some effects. I want the Prophet to go to the chorus, and then from the chorus output into channel 1. For the Model D, I want that to go firstly into the phaser, and then from the phaser output to the delay input, and then left output into the left channel of the mixer channel, and right to 6. Let's have a listen to that. Sounds pretty good, but I think it'd sound better with some beats. So I've got the Volca sample here, and I'm going to connect that using this 1/4" TRS to 1/8" TRS. So I'll just plug that in anywhere. 910, A910 over here, and then that goes into the headphone output of the sample. Now if I play that, nothing happens because it's not plugged into anything. Remember the Model D, that's not going into channel 2 anymore, so we've got a spare channel. So we could just plug the sample straight into channel 2, and we can hear that coming through there. But what I want to do is I want to demonstrate how we can use something I haven't mentioned yet, which is these passive mixers. So we've got 2 of those. 3 inputs, 1 output. And so what I'm going to do is I'm going to use the panning knob on the sample as an effect send, and then so I'll have a dry signal and a reverb signal, and then I'll mix them together to 1 output, and then we'll put that through channel 2. For one of the channels we'll just send straight to the mixer, and that'll be our dry signal, and then the other channel we'll send to the input of the reverb, and then output of the reverb into our submixer, and then from the output of that submixer into channel 2. So it's a little bit of a volume drop because it's a passive mixer, so we'll just boost that a little bit. Okay, so now if I turn the panning knob on one of the sounds, we can hear that reverb. Alright, I'm going to play out on this groove. If you'd like to know more about the DF Audio MINIBAY, you can find a link in the description. Thanks for watching. Cheers.